Welcome to Leadership Matters, the podcast that explores the essential elements of effective leadership. Join us as we delve into the art and science of leadership, uncovering the strategies, insights, and stories that showcase why leadership truly matters. And now your host, Dr. Sharon H. Porter.
Leadership. I'm your host, Dr. Sharon H. Porter, and I am truly excited to welcome my guest, Yvette Jett. She is the CEO of Strategic Leadership Design and Coaching. Coach Vett, thank you for being my guest today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dr. Sharon. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. This is so exciting. This is Leadership Matters. And so I've got to know your beginning. Please let us know just a little bit about yourself, but then how did you get into leadership development?
Oh, that is an awesome question. Just a little bit about me. As you stated, I'm Yvette Jett. I'm Coach Jett. And what I do is I help leaders grow and I help leaders expand themselves and understand exactly what they could do better to support the team. And you say, where did that start? I really think it's from birth because I was born on New Year's Day. I'm the oldest. So leading has just always been a natural inclination for me. But then from a professional setting, it was when I was in the military. When I was in the Army, I had some of the greatest leaders ever. And I will never forget when I told my first sergeant I wanted to be a leader. I said, First Sergeant, I want to be a sergeant. And mind you, I hated the Army at the time. He's like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. And so he was the one that truly just believed in me and helped me believe in myself and put that belief into action. And so after that, I said, everything I do, everything I touch, I have to be the leader of it. Because I knew at an early age that I was going to be guided in the right direction by God so that he would direct the power that he gave me. And so I just been leading in everything I do and everywhere I go because I truly like to help people. I like to help people grow and I want the best for people because I've had bad leaders, but then I've had great leaders. And it was the good and the bad that really propelled me to be where I am now.
That's one of the things that people don't understand. You can learn from everything, the
Everything.
positive, the negative. You take what's in front of you and you learn the lesson from it. And so I love that. And people think you have to have dynamic leaders in front of you. And it's a blessing when you do, but you also learn what not to do when you see the leaders the individuals in front of you that are not displaying those strategies and those skills of an effective leader. So I love that.
And I think for me, I'm in my doctorate program, and what keeps me going and motivated in my doctoral program are the bad leaders. It's not the good leaders that keep me motivated. It's the bad leaders. When I tell you, I've had a horrible experience, right? And those help me write my papers. Those help me give fuel to my fire. That it gives me credence behind the theories, right? That those theories is what really does matter. And that though applying the theories and applying it to life will change leadership. And because I said I have to teach it. And so that leads me to why I started my business, because I said, I will die trying to teach everyone I can about leadership. So no one ever has to suffer like I did. Like, why didn't y'all just hire a coach so they could have mitigated all this stuff?
And that really makes me, because leading and coaching is really two different things. Some people definitely are effective leaders, but they can't coach others to that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So what is it that makes you able to actually coach others? Because leadership development is a skill all by itself.
It's completely different. You know what? It's my intuition. I could sit back, look at a situation, surmise what's going on, and be able to diagnose it, which is why I said I'm going to be the doctor of strategic leadership. Just as anyone else will go to a doctor, a medical doctor, and they can look at you and tell you what's going on. Like, how did you know all that? One, they've studied forever. Two, they've been through life. And so that's how I look at myself. I could sit back, look at a situation, and say, okay, I know what's going on with it. And I can prescribe some way to fix it. So I could tell you the problem and I can give you a solution to the problem. And it usually 9 times out of 10 is right on the money. If not, let's go back to the drawing board again and re-diagnose it so we can get you the proper solution. And that's how I really look at it. And it's natural. So it's my natural ability combined with my experience, combined with my education. All three of those is the proper mixture and recipe for success in leadership development
Wow.
and coaching.
I love that. And, really, and I want to go back to your point about when you were in the military
Okay.
and how you saw what you wanted to be, right? And you
Yeah.
worked towards it because,
Right.
the big debate, are leaders born or are they made, right?
Mm,
That will forever be the big debate.
okay.
I do believe definitely, first of all, in a growth mindset. So
Yeah.
wherever you are, I believe there is opportunity for improvement, right? So
Right.
wherever level you are, now everyone is not made to be a leader. We know
Right.
that. We have
Right.
evidence, right?
Exactly. Yes.
But certainly there are things that you can improve upon. So when you were, first of all, did you always desire to be in the military? When did that spark your interest?
No, I didn't always desire, sorry about that. No, I didn't always desire to be in the military. My goal was initially just honestly, I was in aviation before I went in the military. So my goal was to stay in aviation forever. Then I went back to aviation. And I just woke up one day, I said, I'm going to go in the Army, just like that.
Wow.
I said, I'm going to go in the Army. So I got in shape and I went in the Army. And
Wow.
it was just me just trying something, just doing something, to be honest with you. I had several family members that had gone in the Army, but I just wanted, Yvette just wanted to do something. I always like trying something new. I said, so let me go in the Army, see what this is about. And that's what happened. And when I got in there, I'll be honest with you, I hated it because there was a lack of freedom, right? I wasn't a flight attendant anymore. I I went in as a flight attendant during and after 9/11, right? After the war had broke out. So I was like, why did I do this to myself again? Like, what was that about? Like they put me in the desert. I'm like, where are my white sheets? Like, where are my white towels? And I'm going out to the woods. Well, not the woods. I'm going out like literally to the desert to
Wow.
take a shower and things like that. But it taught me the greatest lessons ever. And I would never change it for the world because it gives me the life I have today.
Unbelievable. I love it. So what are some of those key strategies that you feel that really contribute to a leader's growth?
A leader, I really believe a leader has to want to grow. Because if you don't want to grow as a leader, you just have a position. And a lot of times, people have positions, they have roles, but they don't have any desire to have leadership skills.
Mhm.
Because if you have a desire to have leadership skills, you grow and care about people. And you're building your bench at the same time. So you can have a succession plan. Because you're not going to be, every
Absolutely.
leader knows that, right? What legacy am I leaving behind so that you can grow bigger and better than me? That's what real leaders do.
Yeah.
So what I would say what makes a great leader is just wanting to grow, having a desire to grow and learn. Because just like everything else, if you're not up to date on what the current trend is, you're left behind. So
Absolutely.
be like, know what's going on. And then truly care about somebody beyond yourself, beyond the data, beyond the numbers and the day to day.
Mm.
Like, I I mean, I know it sounds weird, especially in the corporate world, but do you love the person? Do you have a genuine love for the person? I've had leaders that I knew genuinely loved me. And you know how I knew? Because they helped me grow. They helped Yvette grow. And they could see inside my heart, which made a complete difference. And I knew the kind that weren't leaders and didn't care one way or another. So it's having that heart for people, right?
Yeah.
And not just for the business, but for the
For the
people.
people. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, it's definitely people first.
Mhm.
When I guess 5 or 6 years ago, when I was working in my school district, working with aspiring leaders, one
Mm.
of the things that I always shared with them is you can't just rely on your principal where you are,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mm.
again, they may not have the will or the skill to develop right?
Exactly.
And so you have to be an advocate for yourself
Yeah.
in leadership development. You can't
Most
wait
definitely.
on someone to develop. It's nice if there's someone there,
Mhm.
but you have to advocate for yourself to get
Exactly.
out there and network and connect with other leaders who are going to push you forward.
Exactly.
Because leadership schools, principal school doesn't teach you everything. You have
It
to
doesn't.
have that experience.
Exactly. And a lot of times I think people get frustrated, and I was one of those people, right? Um, because I wanted the person that was in charge of me to contribute to who I was and to my growth. And it didn't dawn on me until years later that that's not really their
That's
role.
not,
And if and most time they don't really care or have the time to. And most time they don't have the know-how to. Just because you know how to conduct business does not mean
yes,
you know how to grow people, and vice versa, right?
yes,
And so you have to be okay with that, come to grips with that, and go outside of where you are in order to develop and grow. You really do. And most time you're not going to get it where you're planted.
that's
Because
right.
it's different.
It's
It's
just,
different.
you're so right. So let's talk about emotional intelligence, because a lot of times that really plays a role in effective leadership. You have to have
Right.
some level of emotional intelligence. How
Mm.
do you perhaps help leaders enhance that aspect for their skill set?
You know what? It comes down to self-awareness. Are you aware enough of yourself to be emotionally intelligent? What do you allow to trigger you so that you don't get caught up in the moment, but you go past what you're feeling? Honestly, sometimes what you're thinking. I never forget, I had a great leader one time, and they said, don't make decisions in the moment. Don't make decisions off of emotions. Sleep on it.
Mm,
And if you have the same decision, the same strength and venom behind whatever's going on,
mm,
then it's probably right. But if you sleep on it and you come
mm-hmm.
out with something different, it
Different.
probably was wrong, right? And so then I think that leads to, bringing your whole self to work. And what does that look like from the emotional intelligence standpoint? Is it intelligent to bring all of that, right?
Right.
I don't think you should have to hide who you are or what you're going through, but know when and where and how to taper that off
Yes.
when need be, So that's how I tell leaders, just take your time, get to know who you are so that you can understand what triggers you and what doesn't, right? And then I will also say being in the right role and leading the right type of people. And I think that's what sometimes leaders don't understand. I heard one leader say, I could lead anything. No, you can't. And if you think you can, you might be wrong. And you might not want to lead just anything
That's
because
right.
there's dynamics in different areas. A union environment is different from a non-union environment.
Mhm.
An
That's true.
operation is different from a non-operation. Financial services is different from aviation.
Yes.
So you have to really choose what's best for your emotions. You really do.
I love that. Now, in leadership and working with individuals and developing their leadership skills, setbacks are inevitable, right?
Mm,
Failures, and I put failures in quotes because I'm a believer that failures propel you forward.
mm,
But how do you approach helping individuals overcoming those setbacks and basically making sure that resilience takes the front, right? And
mm.
play in that journey of leadership development. How do you handle that with setbacks and failures?
You know what? Like you said in air quotes, right? I don't believe in failures. I believe it's an opportunity and it's a learning moment. I believe in failing fast and fail often because if you don't fail, you'll never try. And so a lot of leaders, oh, that didn't work, that fell flat, right? Okay, so let's find a way to get some feedback. Find a way to do a retrospective about it so that maybe you can redesign it the next time. So a lot of leaders have setbacks and a lot of leaders may fail at a certain situation, issue, but what do we learn from it, right? And how can we grow from it? Because I can guarantee you that'll be a great story later. So let's know that it's going to pass and you're not going to be perfect, and it's an opportunity to give grace to yourself and to
Yes.
others. So the imperfections will help us learn how to accept the imperfections in those that we lead. And just being transparent about it. I found that the most effective leaders are transparent. They put their hand to their heart. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I called this completely wrong, but this is what I learned from it. And then have a plan to go forward, right? You get stuck because you don't have a plan to go forward. What is our strategic plan to move forward so we don't make the same mistake again? So next time we can go down a different tree, because it's not perfect.
That's
And
right.
leadership is not a perfect business. Leadership is the messiest business you could ever be a part of. It really is. And if anyone says it's easy, they are sorely mistaken. They're sorely mistaken. And you could try to do everything perfectly and still not get it right. And they have the
Absolutely.
best intentions, right? But if you lead with positive intent,
Yes.
leading with positive intent will help those shortcomings be a little bit more forgivable for those
Absolutely.
that you have to lead.
Yes, absolutely. And those individuals will see that,
It will.
authenticity comes out.
It does.
And so they know that and they see that and they appreciate it.
And you know what? And there always are going to, and this is what I always tell leaders, because you may be authentic, there may be people that appreciate it, but best believe there's going to be someone that doesn't
Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah.
But you still have to hold on to that. You
Yes.
still have to be authentically you,
Yes.
even for the naysayers, because
I
they're going to
love
be
it.
out there.
They're going to be there.
They're going to be
Absolutely.
there. They're going to be there.
Now, in this world of diversity, equity, inclusion, and
Mm,
we know that it is increasingly emphasized in the workplace, as it should be.
right.
How do you really incorporate these principles into leadership development when you're actually coaching so that you can create more inclusive leaders?
You know what? I tell people, get outside of where get outside of who you normally talk to. Be intentional about engaging others, right? And what I really like that's happened, especially, I always recommend leaders stay in a remote environment as much as you can, because you're able to bring talent and people from all over the world and globe.
Yes.
And until we learn how to relate to one another like that, we'll never be successful. I think the best story I always give leaders is this picture. I took my kids years ago when they were little to this park in the Dallas area. And in this park, all these little kids of different sizes, different colors, and different races were playing together like they were
Wow.
equals. And I said, if only we can get
Adults.
to play the same way without a care in the world. And do you not
Wow.
know how much they learn from one another,
Wow.
how much they enjoy one another? So why can't we enjoy people that don't look like us? Are we afraid to learn? And so I challenge my leaders. What is the fear about having diversity, about having an inclusive environment where
Yes.
you have people and genders and races and ages that don't look like you, nor do they think like you?
Right.
Right? So let's get
Yes.
secure about that so we can get everybody in. Let's
Absolutely.
all work together,
Yeah. And
It's okay.
having diverse perspectives really can propel a team forward
It really can.
easier than having like-minded people.
It really can. And you know what? And I always say what helped me have a diverse perspective is the way I grew up. I grew up in California, and we used to do potluck after church. And it was Filipino food, it was Mexican food, it was soul food. So when
Mm,
I grew up, I love pancit. And people are like, you know about pancit? Yeah.
wow.
Because Sister Lee had pancit at the
Wow.
potluck. So and that's where diversity comes in. What can you learn from the person next to you?
Yes.
What can they add to the plate that you never thought of? And how much can your organization grow if you have a diverse, innovative thought? Oh my goodness. Oh
Wow.
my goodness. And studies have shown those companies and organizations that have diversity grow better, longer, and faster because of
Wow.
innovation.
Wow. So where are you in your doctoral pursuits?
Oh my goodness. Classes start on Monday.
Okay.
I'm about a year and a half in, so I have
Okay.
about a year to go. And I'm in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Dr. Sharon, I'm in the thick of it. I'm in the part where I said, oh my goodness, it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It's becoming more and more worth it because I'm learning so much more from
Right.
doctors that have been in the leadership game for a long time.
I love
And then
it.
I'm around students that have the same hunger and desire that I have, right? So yeah, we're almost there.
Okay, and that's really excellent. And what's your dissertation topic?
Well, I will do a project.
Okay.
So I'm assuming my project will be solving some type of leadership problem in an organization because that's where they're leading us. What
Okay.
problem do you want to solve? And a lot of the problems that we have been, and that's why I'm so open with talking about bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I've written several papers on bad leadership.
Mm.
In my last class, we had to write a paper about a problem in an organization and how will we solve that problem. So I'm assuming that my project
Mm.
will be, how can I solve a leadership problem?
Wow.
And I said, I see a lot of them. So
Yeah, and I want to stick with that because we talk a lot about effective leadership, but listening to you, ineffective, is
Mhm,
out there, definitely.
mhm,
What should, other than like I tell my aspiring leaders, find other people to learn from as
mhm,
well. But if you are faced with an ineffective leader, how
mm,
do you move your individuals forward? They may be around ineffective leaders,
mm,
right?
mm.
Because that's really something to think about. We really focus on effective leaders, but more times than not, you will find leaders who really should not be leading or in the position to lead.
And you know what, Dr. Sharon, that for me is a very, very sensitive and heartfelt topic. You know why? And this is probably what I'll do my project on is psychological safety. So
I
I
love
tell
that.
people, right, I get what we want to do. I get what we want to achieve. And I get you want to
Mm,
go forward. And I get you want to have someone lead you. But before you do all that, I need you to be psychologically safe. Because what has happened, people have stayed under bad leadership for so long, it
yes,
affects them psychologically. I'm
yes.
a testament to that.
Wow,
If you stay too long, you're going to do yourself more harm than good because
wow.
we only have one life to live. So I tell people if your leader is causing you psychological
Mm,
damage, you
wow,
need to move over or you need to move out, but you
wow.
don't have to stay. So you make a choice, right? The
This is
best
true.
thing a leader can do is make a choice. Let me tell you, the world is huge. You don't
That's
have
right.
to stay. Like you only have one life to live and
Oh,
you deserve to have a good life. You deserve to have a good life. And there's someone out there that wants to lead you well. There now it may take some time, right? It's like any other relationship. Why stay in something that's not fulfilling?
yes.
Get over it and move on. Learn
Wow.
what you can and move on. So that so if he want me to tell you stick and stay forever, no, find something else. Will it be work? Yeah.
Of course, absolutely.
My thing is, I probably and think you probably got my topic, my project, psychological safety.
I love that.
And
I
if it's
absolutely,
not safe, move on
I
because
love
you'll
it.
do so much harm. And then what will happen is you'll get in another position and you'll be so damaged that you can't do the great work that you're designed to do because psychologically you stayed in a place for too long that was not safe for you mentally and emotionally.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Incredible.
what I say.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And so when you coach, are you mainly working with educators or are you working with entrepreneurs? Like what's your target audience?
My target audience is educational leaders
Okay.
because I love education. One is my love is my passion, and two because educators they have this opportunity to reshape the world from kindergarten all the way through
Yes.
college. They can reshape the world, and a lot of the one of the profound things about what I do is I bring everything I learned in the corporate world and apply it to education,
Yes.
team building,
Yes.
collaboration, communication. So, and how do we make that all work together in an educational environment? It's not about the test scores.
That's
It's
it.
it's really not. but can I help you learn? Can I help you enjoy your learning? And can I help us like work together well? So I enjoy my principal. I enjoy the AP. When I see you, we have a cordial relationship,
Yes.
hopefully like family and friends. And that's why I like to work with educators. Plus, I just have a love for them. They just have a mind that I think is like no other. And you have to have a heart. To be successful in education, you have to have a heart for it. You
Absolutely.
really do.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that, because that for so long, and I worked with assistant principals who aspired to the principalship, but
Mm,
also first year principals. And for so long, assistant principals were left out of the professional learning loop, for so
really?
long. Not probably within the last 10 to 15 years, they've now, really start putting the focus on there. The Wallace Foundation have done
Okay.
grants to many different school districts to help with professional learning for assistant principals. But,
Wow.
and you mentioned it, you have to prepare the bench,
Yeah.
because you're not going to stay in that position for long. And that's where the gap came. There was
Yeah.
no focus on assistant principals. Principals were either leaving, retiring, or just getting out of education altogether. And then you were stuck with an assistant
Mhm.
principal who they just were not
They
prepared.
weren't ready. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
ready. So
Yeah.
you can't just sit on the bench. You got to prepare the bench to take the
Exactly.
lead. And that was my dissertation topic, next in line to
Ooh,
lead.
nice.
That was part of that, because my focus was on preparing those who are next in line. You
Wow.
can't wait till they're in the position to get them ready.
Exactly. Ex-
That
And
makes no sense.
and think about how that when you're preparing your next leader in line, you're building trust. I've
Yes.
heard it said one time, I was talking with the AP. I said, why didn't you do this, this, or this? Because I could just look at them and tell they were innovative and
Mm,
they were forward thinking. They like, well, the principal doesn't like it like that.
wow.
Is it hurting anybody's kids? Is it
Wow.
hurting anyone's kids to kind of think outside the box? I'm like,
Wow.
why are those kiddos having lunch detention? Has anyone talked to them? It's the same kid in the corner. Like, can we maybe
Wow.
re-engineer how we're doing this? But let's build the trust in our bench, and that
That's
cultivates
it.
relationship.
I love it. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So, my final question always is, why, in your opinion, does leadership matter?
Oh my God. Leadership matters because it changes the world. It changes the world. We can look at our country and we can look and see where we had bad leadership, we've had good leadership, and we could see what it did for the economy, for our psychological safety, and just for everyone around us. Then we could take it at the lower level to the kiddos on the playground. When they have good leadership on the playground, how do they conduct themselves? When we have good leaders in our home, how do they conduct themselves? And it matters because it changes everything. And we're all leaders, and we should all lead the territory that we're over and that we govern, because it reshapes who we are. It reshapes the world.
Oh my goodness. This has been such a pleasure. And I know this is not the end. This is the beginning for us.
Yes,
This is
yes,
the beginning.
yes.
I truly, truly appreciate you taking the time out and sharing all of your insights on leadership, your passion, because it comes through.
Oh, thank
We
you.
definitely want to rally around you to finish this
Yes,
doctoral degree. I can't wait till you
thank you.
finish and read your findings and discuss that. But it's been a true pleasure speaking with you today. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for being my guest.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon, for having me. It's amazing to speak with you. It really is.
Absolutely. I absolutely just love the dialogue, right?
Yes,
Just love the
most
dialogue.
definitely.
And to my audience, I want to thank you as well. Thank you for joining us for another enlightening episode of Leadership Matters. I hope our discussion today has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration to enhance your leadership journey. Remember, leadership is not about position or title. It's about making a positive impact on the people that you are charged with. And that's so important, whether you're leading a team, an entire organization, the principles of leadership are universal. So, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge.
Yes.
Navigate those challenges and opportunities that leadership presents. Always strive to lead with empathy, with integrity, and with a genuine commitment for growth and the well-being of others. I am Dr. Sharon H. Porter. Thank you for joining us, and remember, leadership matters.
Thank you for joining Leadership Matters. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can catch us on your favorite podcast platform every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.